Hey guys, welcome back to the Conservative Patriot. My name is Keith. Driving into work this morning, I had a thought, and it started a couple days ago, and maybe even prior to that. I'm of a certain age, 48 years old, that I grew up, and my parents weren't strict in the sense of like 1940s or 50s parents, but they they taught me the rules of the road. They taught me how to respect people, do the right thing, don't deviate out of the lines of legalities. And when I was growing up, my dad would always, we step out of line, you would hear that belt come off his pants and he'd snap it and hang it on my doorknob. Never use it against us, but that threat of it being there, man, it made us just like straighten up. That, the wooden spoon, and the fly swatter. Those were the three things in my house that you were like, oh great, something bad's gonna happen when those things start coming out, and there ain't no flies around. Just gonna start whacking us with it. So that's the problem, I think, with a lot of people today. And I was gonna say kids, but they're actually adults now who grew up without that same discipline. They grew up without a threat of repercussions for bad actions. They grew up in an environment of, oh, it's gonna be okay, don't worry about that, try harder next time, everybody gets a participation medal, here you go, you guys really sucked and lost that game, but you guys keep your chin up and you guys are all winners. No, you need to teach people that failure is part of life, and there are repercussions for your actions. There's consequences for your actions, and I see that. And looking at all of these, I'm not going to call them protesters, because protesters they're normal. It's different. That's a completely different thing. That's a right that we all have. We all can protest and do it in a reasonable manner, which most people do. But then you have these rioters and Antifa members and Black Lives Matter groups who are not protesting. They are there to create chaos and anarchy and strife in our streets. And a lot of these people don't fear consequences because they didn't have any growing up. And now that all these cities, which are, I hate to say it, they're all Democrat run. And it shows, it's proof to what their policies have done. So you have these Democrat mayors, and they're all and defund the police, and or they're hand tying the police in their cities and state, or if they're governors, they're hand tying this in their states. So people are having more. They're feeling more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not like they're feeling more like, hey, I can get away with all kinds of shit right now because there's no consequences, and even if there are, they're gonna be on my side anyways. They're not gonna be on the police side. They're gonna say, you know what? Oh, like that mayor in Seattle. It's the summer of love. Screw you, man. That's not the summer of love. That's just screwed up nonsense going on over there. And in thinking about this and looking at these Democrat-run states, cities, etc., those are the same people who taught these kids to be like this, with no consequences, no wooden spoons, no threat of punishment for doing something wrong. If you do something wrong, oh, it's okay, try harder next time, don't worry about it. And then the kid gets emboldened. That's the word I was looking for. Kid gets emboldened to do more and push more boundaries because they know the more boundaries they push with no consequences, the more they're going to get away with, which is what they're doing now in these streets, these movements, this Antifa bullshit. There are no consequences because they know that the police aren't going to come at them, because the police are afraid that they're going to get in trouble for doing their job. The cops are going to, the mayors are defunding the police, so they're like, there's not going to be any police, so we can do whatever we want to. So let's just riot, loot, talk shit, and the other day at the end of the Republican convention, when Rand Paul and Dan Bongino and I forgot his first name, but Ackers from the New Hampshire Republican Party were all walking back to their hotels, and they were all threatened verbally, and people trying to get up in their spaces to provoke a reaction by them. Obviously nothing. They didn't get a reaction. But again, those people have no fear. And a lot of them were paid to do this, obviously, because they had film crews behind them watching them do this. But again, they had no fear and they had no respect for these people. And to say what these people were saying to Rand Paul, threatening his life with death threats, that guy's a federal employee and a federal officer because he's a senator. So that's a felony crime. And I just got stuck behind a wicked slow car on the highway doing like 30 in a 65. Anyways, so that's my take. It's kind of just a thought rant that I had. I had to get it out. Let me know what you guys think. I think that if there was more discipline in a lot of these people growing up, I don't know when it started, early 90s maybe, when this whole thought process took a hold, where people were like, oh, well, we can't punish our kids anymore. We have to just let them, express themselves and they'll figure it out on their own. Well, they're not figuring it out on their own. They're creating chaos and they're disturbing the peace. They have no fear because they grew up with no fear of being punished. Well, now they're adults and they're going to get punished by jail or whatever, death, if they go over, step over that line. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Kind of wanted to, share that thought with you as, something that I'm seeing in this world. And, maybe I'm off base. Maybe they're just assholes doing this. But I think there's an underlying cause to all of this. And an effect of that cause being no consequences. So do me a favor, have a great day, and always remember to stay on the right side. Talk to you soon, guys.